Hello, everyone. Welcome to our next episode in our Profile Line Party series. And today we have an exciting lineup of guests. If you have been keeping an eye on our Instagram page, you will have seen I have featured some of the guests for you to get to know a little before you get to see them live today. So, very exciting. I would like to introduce this profile to you before we have everybody come on and share themselves with us. So, without further ado, I will show off our lovely 2-4 profile. And like we showed you before, using the house analogy, right? The 2 is in the window. So they are actually visible, very visible from the outside. Like everybody knows they're there, kind of thing. While the 4 is on the second floor on the foundation. So that's where they're located in the house. So moving along, core traits of a 2-4 is so the 2 makes them need to have lots of alone time, but the 4 is a people person, so they want to go out and do all the socializing. So it's a nice little balancing act between the two of them. They are very intuitive with other people's needs, and they are quite easygoing and can, you know, also come off as democratic and trying to make sure everybody is getting fair treatment. They are naturally talented at the things. That's what 2s are known for. They're naturals. And they have no idea how they're good at the things or that they're sometimes even good at them at all. So there's a little like, huh? What do you mean? That element to this profile. And what happens is other people outside of them recognizes this talent and calls on them, right? So 2s have a call and it's up to them if they want to answer it or not. Hence, lady at the door. Okay, I guess I answered this one, and they go do the thing, right? And close connections with whom they work with is super important. And they are super, super powerful when they're answering the correct calls. So just because people call on them doesn't mean that they're supposed to answer every single one of them. So it is very important for them to be only answering the ones that they themselves feel is correct for them to answer. Oh, there's a bunch of comments that have not been. Howdy, Tattoo. So nice to see you. Oh, so nice. Okay, so we do have some friends joining us live. So there, yes, let's see if there's any 2-4s in the chat. Please say hello. So our learning and authority of the 2-4, right? They balance needing alone time, their hermit side with the people person, like I mentioned before, and they learn how to trust their natural gifts, right? So they're this is the difference between like a 2 and let's say a 1, right? A 1 really needs to like study and like get to know the thing. A 2 can pick it up relatively easily, and the more they get comfortable that they don't have to like really prepare, the easier it is for them. And they're energized but their natural gifts. And the opposite is true. If they push too hard to like act like a 1, for example, they will get tired. And the way they improve is by getting feedback from others, right? And others who understand that they're innately talented. And they they are innately talented, but that doesn't mean that they always have to go around sharing it all the time either, right? So it's a combination of like needing solitude and being social, but also needing solitude and like sharing their talents. So they need to do both and have some recharge time. And they have a natural shyness to them, right? And because of this like inbuilt shyness, only like a very strong pull towards doing a thing is going to be answered by them when they're living in alignment with their design. And they develop their authority by sharing their natural talents, by just freely doing and being the thing that lights them up. So, some challenges for this profile. is if they overcommit, they can get very physically drained. They're just like, bomb, just very pooped. And another reason for this is, again, their recharge happens when they get their solitude. So if they're not giving themselves enough solitude, they're not going to have the energy to go socialize or to share their gifts, right? So in their close personal relationships, they also need solitude. So this is not just friends, like, for their family also, they need some alone time. I have a very good friend who's a 2-4, and she gets very crabby if she's not getting her alone time. So this applies to everybody in their life. And the other aspect of the two is the two profile well, the line two has a projection. So that means, because they're naturally talented, people see them as this like shiny thing that they want to be around or to have the gifts shared from. So there can be a projection field happening. So having that awareness as a two, knowing, oh, okay, there might be a projection happening and they're not really seeing me for me, also brings in more understanding of not only themselves but also how people see them and the type of feedback that they get when they're working with people. They can struggle with too many calls, right? And this is going to lead to stress and burnout. And you need to be able to tell which calls are really, truly meant for you, right? And the fourth line needs a nice supportive network, and all the opportunities will come through the people that they are closest to, right? Your friends, family, work colleagues, things like that. So, in conclusion, the 2-4 is walking a little tightrope of their inner world and their outer world, right? Their inner world of like, I would like to be alone, and their outer world of like, oh, but people want me to share my thing, or I really want to be around others and socialize. Right. So, natural gifts and external sharing. Uh, the two absolutely needs a secure environment. Without that, it really messes with their well-being. Same thing, the 2-4 friend I have, when let's say her house is going through like a big upheaval of some sort, or like decluttering or whatever, she's feeling weird because it's like, this is my home and I don't feel secure in my home, right? For the two line twos, it's super important to have a home that they feel comfortable just relaxing in and recharging. And I explain the networks and the way. So I talked a lot about, okay, the correct call, right? So how do you figure out what the correct call is? The way you do this is by using your strategy and authority. So of course, different types will have different strategies and different authorities. So that is how you discern which call is meant for you and which one isn't. So the last thing is proper. I know I said you don't want to study too much, but that doesn't mean you don't want a little bit of a foundation, right? So you teach something and then the two just takes off, right? They learn a thing and then they just take off. So they still need that when the 2-4 is a child, right? That base foundation that they can then hone their gifts in on. But yes, that is our 2-4 slides for today. So now what we're going to do is actually bring up our 2-4 guests and introduce them. So we have our reflector. Hello.
Hi.
Amazing. So I'll bring everybody up so everyone is in the same thing. And then we have Chris, who is not at his seat, and we have our other 2-4 that we don't know where they went. But anyhow, Sarah and Chris, you can choose what order you'd like. Is there anything you'd like to share about yourselves before? Oh, Danny's back. Okay, so I can bring Danny on. Share about yourselves as we commence our bingo game.
Anything at all?
Chris, you can go first if you want.
I'll say I'm in the middle of a move and didn't anticipate being at the apartment I'm currently at, so I'm wearing my workout clothes I was moving in, so apologies for not
Oh,
dressing
good,
a
man.
little bit more appropriately, but
But yeah, you can share anything you like. And it's like where people can find you, what you're up to, all the things. We'll do this again, but just so people can get familiar with you.
And anything you've noticed about your experiment and just about sort of what happened when you found out about design, just a quick thing.
mm, uh, for me, I guess the key thing was like I've had many corporate jobs throughout my career, and no matter how much I, give the 110% and go above and beyond, like always ends up, getting, manager leaves, or, something happens where, they have layoffs, or so no matter how hard I, apply myself, it's yet to work out. And so I'm just finally uh, pursuing not working for someone else for the first time in many
Yeah,
years. So
I can see that. I can't stand working for anybody. I can't do it anymore. I
yeah,
can't do it. Yep.
Yeah,
Same
that's
here.
where I'm headed too. I'm branching out on my own. I'm working on being an iridologist. So
What is that?
that's the study of the iris in your eye, and you can pinpoint health issues that need to be addressed. And with the specific training I've had, I also have holistic healing along with it. So
We
basically,
need
I
to
can
have more color.
identify something going on in your eye and be like, well, I've got, these kinds of supplements that you could take to try to, see if we can get it to fix. And then when you come back in a month or so, you can see the change in the iris from the healing.
Love
So,
that. I hate these glasses, man. I hate them, but I can't get the laser surgery. I won't do it.
oh, yeah, no thanks.
Yep, no thanks. Chad, I think we were just saying a little, if there's anything you want to say about yourself or where people can find you or what is it, is going on with you, and just a little bit about if you've been, what it's been like to find out about human design for yourself and stuff.
Okay. So I'm a behavioral coach. I usually work with troubled youth and young adults at Crossroads Discovery in Arizona. And I first heard about human design like 2 or 3 years ago through our mutual friend, Mary Danny.
Oh,
She-
Chad, you're Chad. Right. I get it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're good.
Sorry,
No,
man.
but yeah, she's been teaching me a lot, and it's been helpful. So, yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Same here. I started in my I'm in my 17th year, I guess. And I have to, and the first year was spent because I didn't believe it. Back then I was like, I just called BS. I was like, we don't have this
Yeah.
tech. Next
Yeah.
thing you're gonna tell me is airplanes can take right angle turns in midair, whatever. So, but it dawned on me, and my teacher was persistent. Next thing I know, my jaw's dropping and she's telling me things like she couldn't know. And I just dove in from there. I couldn't help it. I don't do much social media. People can find me on Instagram at Danny Guru HD on Instagram, and I can't give out my phone number. I was just about to do it again, but now she'll wring my neck like last week. But you guys got it. I hope we all talk offline, man. I don't just spend an hour, half hour, or something, just shooting the breeze and checking in on it. We should do that more, and I hope we do that. But
I'll definitely text you.
yeah, please. Just it's on the house. It's it's good. You too, Chad, because now I know a little bit about you.
Yes. I will reach out.
You too, Chris, man. The corporate world, man, you don't like it, and I would love to catch up some. It's just do the
Yes.
thing.
All
Yep.
the fours making friends. This is exactly
Yes.
what I like to see.
Bam.
Right. So now I'm gonna check in with everybody. You have your bingo cards ready?
yes.
Yep, sure do.
Perfect. So our lovely co-host Moni is now going to swap out with me, and we'll be reading the bingo cards and then popping off so you can do a chatter and such. So let me quickly do that.
Hi, Moni.
Hello.
Can we hear you? I can't hear you.
I did it. I was saying hi and nice things. super nice listening to you guys. Super, super fun. And that iridology thing, I'm like, okay, we got to talk later, girl, because that's interesting.
Hit me up. I love it.
That's so cool. I love people that study cool, weird stuff. So we're going to be doing bingo. So really fun, just like a nice little like icebreaker to get you guys talking. Again, this whole thing is just to be fun and silly and just to see how different people are interacting within like the same, like you guys are all the 2-4s, but then how your different types play out. So bingo is going to be super, super fun. I'm just going to be listing out some things and they're going to have it also at the bottom of the screen. So you can read along there and just follow along with your bingo card and feel free to like react and talk about it and interact and have like a fun little silly time. So you guys ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So the first one is balances alone and social time.
Like, I know we're supposed to, but I so much prefer my alone time these days that I'm like, I'm really turning into a hermit. Like,
balance. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, it's bad.
Get out.
I mean, it's neat though, because it's like that personality side. So it's that side that you're aware of where you're like, I want to chill and hermit. And then like, you're like, okay, fine, I'll go out and be social.
Well, Moni, what was the balances? It was balances inner and outer?
Oh, alone and social time is the first one.
I don't have that one. Balances.
There might be some other balancing further down on the bingo list.
I got 2 of them.
Yeah. So next one is going to be senses others' needs.
So my friends will actually get really annoyed with me about this. I have a couple that I'm really close with that I've been friends with for probably almost my entire life. And they'll pop into my head one day and I'll text them and I'll be like, girl, you good? And they're like, no, how do you know that? So yeah, that's kind of cool.
I noticed that sensitivity sort of just comes out of the blue, but it's not always there. Sometimes I'm totally obtuse to the other's needs. It shows, if there's just a detail missing or I missed something along the way, suddenly I won't even notice.
Yeah, I kind of noticed, like, I feel like I get checked out that way, like if I'm getting too overburdened with everything. So yeah, I feel that, like, just so checked out from everybody's needs.
Awesome.
Would you guys say that, like, sometimes you could sense expectations too?
Oh,
yes,
totally.
And I hate
projecting on us.
Yeah.
We like send out a broadcast and other people notice it and we don't know we're broadcasting. And so like we feel like why are the walkers walking in on me right now? It's like go another way.
For real.
Stop saying stuff.
So it's so neat with like the second line thing, because it's like the image of just like you're on the like bottom floor in like the living room with the lights are on and the curtains are open and you're just like hanging out and painting or doing your art or whatever it is that you second line's Herman alone with, like thinking you're just doing your own thing. And then everyone else is like, wow, look at you. You're amazing.
And we don't even notice they're looking. It's like we're really made to be busy with our own little trip. And there's no rules on what that trip is. And it changes all the time. And it's perfect.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Awesome.
So next one is easygoing, democratic, super chill, easy to vibe with. Do you relate to that?
Totally.
100%.
Depends entirely on the people around me.
Of course.
That makes sense.
You know what? The same thing's true here, but my first response into everything is just that total friendly, exactly like you described. Until they said too many things and I realized I don't feel like hearing any more of their words, and then I politely try and check out.
Right.
It's not their fault. They didn't do anything wrong.
Unaware of natural talents. We already started talking about this when you guys don't realize how amazing you are.
I never know until I totally know.
Funnily enough, I've always been a singer my whole life, always been into singing and all that kind of stuff. And it wasn't until I was 24 that I decided I was going to do opera, and everybody thought it was a total joke. And I kind of thought it was a total joke too. But I actually found an opera coach. She was like the Lady Macbeth, the Salome over in Europe for basically the entirety of the 80s. And she got me Metropolitan competition ready in a year and 6 months.
Wow.
Wow.
So it
Killer.
was like, maybe I wasn't totally insane. Maybe I wasn't.
Oh, that's
Was
so
that,
cool.
is
saying as
that
a
a
kid?
pleasant surprise over there, Sarah?
It was a huge surprise, but it was like one of the most fulfilling things that's ever happened to me in my entire life. So, and I still sing, but you know, it's just kind of wild.
We need more music in this world.
I
Like
agree.
that goes
What's-
perfectly into the next one is called to share talents as you're on the opera stage.
Called to share talents. I got one
Well,
lonely X here so far.
Will some of these not be on our cards?
Yes. Yeah, that's
Okay.
why it's like the bingo thing. So you guys have like different cards, and then whichever one gets like the 5 in the row, or the 4 corners and the free space.
Yeah.
Can you tell how competitive us 2 4s are? We're like at each other's throats. Not. That's funny.
So that's super, super fun. So the next one is going to be needs close work connection,
Mm.
like working within your network, within like your people, your group.
Yeah,
Hey,
I work better when I got a boss who like actually cares, you know? Like even if it's something I don't like doing, I'll do it better just because I'm working with somebody who cares, you know?
Mhm.
So
same here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, the
Yeah, I
importance of that connection for it.
I don't want to do it if there isn't some kind of camaraderie and coolness going on. You know, I gotta
Yeah.
feel entertained, or I don't want it.
The next one is driven by correct calls.
Got it.
And after that, we got hermit and people person. Like that balance that you guys get to experience of just like, leave me alone, but be my friend, but leave me alone.
It's like cat mentality, cat software for sure. Like, you know,
That's a great
That's funny you
description.
say that. I had so many friends that they would say I'd be a cat if I was an animal. So
same.
Hey, do you notice when we make ourselves go away? The keynote in the book says the successful, as a behavioral norm, the successful sidestepping of other people's, behavioral requirements of us, successful sidestepping through isolation. You guys notice that you bug out and it seems to always work mostly?
Yes.
totally.
It's like, but even if you're holding on to nerves, like, oh fuck, this guy's got to do that, and that guy's gonna, I might have to, and whatever. But as long as you bug out, it's mostly always works out.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Keeps working that way for me anyway. Cool. What else?
Next one is trust natural gifts.
Has anybody else struggled with this? Because I think that's one of my biggest downfalls is trusting in myself and my gifts. Is
Not
anybody
anymore.
else?
Yep.
Not anymore.
And for that.
Not anymore. I used to total. I just, as soon as I see that the gift is there, and it's not many, we're not designed to have a billion gifts. We're designed to be called into like a couple of big fat ones that are wicked cool and we can't stop. But yeah, not so much anymore, thank God. I totally used to. I used to not believe anything.
That's cool.
For me-
I hope I get there.
I think for me that ties in with the being unaware of natural talents, and like once you're made aware of it, it's easier to share it.
Right, and it shows up.
Yeah.
But do
Yeah.
you also believe it when it shows up, or do you still sort of not trust it until you hone it down? That was always me.
I think it's a fluke.
Yeah, no, I believe it. It's just if it's a natural talent and I don't really think about it as
Right.
something that other people can't do as well. Once somebody points out, or several somebodies, comment on it.
Chris, can I take a guess? Got a defined ego? Do you remember?
Do I? Let me pull up my chart. I don't believe so, actually.
I'm open.
Yeah,
You're talking like a defined ego. Not that that's necessarily the case, but
yeah, no, that's the G center, right?
right next to it, the little triangle, red. It would be.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's the heart.
Yep.
Yeah.
Heart,
Yeah,
ego, will.
sacral. Yeah, for me, sacral, heart, and G and head are open. The others are defined.
Wow. Cool. So what was next, Moans?
Drained by excessive study.
Mm.
Unless we're called.
Good point.
Yeah, if I want to learn something new, I go deep, and
We're undrained by excessive
sometimes,
study at that point.
Yeah,
yeah,
when it's like right for you guys to like go off and hermit, like you just disappear and then you come back and then like you guys know all this cool stuff.
Hands down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody's been obsessed like us. I can say that.
yeah.
That's
That
a
is
fact.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always so impressive.
Guys ever see Blades of Glory, the movie Blades of Glory?
I don't know if I've seen that.
Oh, with Will Ferrell?
Yeah.
Or-
It's just
Yeah.
that scene near the end with the guy that was always trying to kill one of them. It was like, don't worry, I'll kill you later. No one can obsess like me, Jimmy. He's always totally, it was just so, I looked at that and I was like, oh my God. A little extreme, but you know, pretty much.
That's funny.
So the next one is relies on others' feedback.
It's a tricky one. I value others' feedback, but I
Yeah, that is tricky.
necessarily say I rely on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it maybe is like trying to refer to like the calling out, because it's like if you guys are just like cool being natural, doing your own thing, doing your art. So I think maybe like relying on people to be like, hey, you're really good at that. Come over here and do that. Maybe is what it's trying to get at.
Eliza, yeah, you know what?
Gotcha.
It must be referring to that. Yeah.
I think for me, I think the only feedback that I really would rely on or seek out would be the people that I love and cherish the most, the ones that really mean something,
Right.
Totally.
you know? Because otherwise it's like, I don't care what you think, whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't
I'm
care. I'm
terrible.
good.
Like the 2 and the 4 there, where you're like, if you're my people, if you're my 4, my people, my network, but otherwise I'm gonna just go hermit and do my own thing.
Right. Yeah, pretty much.
So the next one is shyness filters calls. That the shyness that you experience as like a hermit is then like part of the filtering process of like which calls you accept to like step out with that natural gift.
I'd say that's true. I mean, even if it's only a little bit or a speck or it's just something, I'd say that that little filter mechanism is there. Yeah.
Cool. How you guys doing on your bingos? Anyone getting close?
I'm
I'm
so
not worried.
close on 2 ways. I'm so close.
Dude, yeah, I'm a mess over here.
You guys, you're gonna laugh at me, but I have a bingo. I didn't even realize.
Oh,
That's the best.
So in
Oh
your
my goodness.
hermitude, so hanging in your hermitude that we need to call you out to win bingo.
oh man, you're fired.
Slash you win.
That's great.
Oh, that's delightful. Y'all are great. Cool. Are we calling it a bingo then? Or are we going for a second one? We ready for questions?
Did someone get bingo?
Yeah.
Oh, you got bingo. Oh, okay.
Dad at the bottom. He's like, oh, I didn't realize because I'm a hermit just hanging out, being cool, painting,
Hold on.
doing
I'll do one more bingo, but only if those of us who didn't win can keep the X's we currently have.
Yeah, of course. So let's do one more bingo win. Let's see if
They'll speed
someone
up the game.
notices. We gotta call them out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
funny.
So develops authority by sharing. Right? Because otherwise you're just like hanging out with, you're like, I'm super good at this, but I don't realize it because I don't know, I'm just good at this. But in that process of being called out to externalize, then it's like, oh, okay, I'm good at this. And like having some sense of self and authority, perhaps.
I think that makes more sense to me now. Yeah, because I was like, okay, what does it mean by that?
Yeah, in making the bingo cards, Moana is like trying to like fit enough words to express something on the bingo thing, but then also like, what does that mean? So I got a completely open throat, so I think I can just help translate it.
That makes sense.
It's
No, I get
working.
that. That makes sense. Yeah.
It's working.
And then we got the next one. Avoids physical exhaustion.
Perhaps too much. I got a bingo.
Oh, well, there you go. So the perfect amount of resting on that one.
Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't have got it anyways, but cool. I got nothing here. I'm not even close. I'm 2 away no matter where I look. That's funny. Cool.
Well,
What's next?
everyone's a winner. Everyone's a winner here at Awaken Your Human
Crap.
Design. So we're just
There's some
happy to hang
losers,
out.
dude.
No, because we all get to hang out and learn about each other and play a fun game and do the thing. And like, yeah, I like that we got
Moni, that's funny. You know what that was? I was just triggered. I was just DEI triggered.
Oh, God.
That's funny.
All right.
Uh-huh.
Do we got a Moana for the questions?
Whoop whoop. Yep. So now we are going to get deep, friends. So this is where I will be popping in and out so I can see things just fall away the way that it's supposed to. So I am going to find the question, the first one. Do.
What's the website, Moana?
What website?
That's later.
Oh, that's later.
It's like, what are you talking
Manifesting generator skipping steps. It's okay.
I skipped.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
skipped. Yeah, that's
about?
funny.
No, there was no questions. I asked you a bunch already. So here we go. And then, yes. Ready, steady. And then, yes, Moni can translate the question if it didn't make sense because she's good at those things. She caught it exactly. That's exactly what happens with bingo. I'm like, this doesn't make sense, but I don't know how else to fit this.
Just throw me in to translate. It's fine.
So your first question is, do you notice a natural shyness in yourself?
Okay, I want to be the first to jump on this because this really has, like, ever since you sent me the questionnaire, I've been thinking about this. And I don't know, for me personally, if shyness is a word that I would use to describe me now. I think maybe back when I was much younger, I was super shy in the sense that, you know, I was so unsure. But now I feel like this shyness, or what might fall under that word, is actually more or less my observationist self. Like, I don't feel like when I go into a group of people, like, I'm shy. I'm certainly not. Like, I will talk to anybody, but I'm so reserved and I observe everyone first that I'm like, who do I actually even want to waste my time on for the most part, you know? So I don't know if that feels right for the rest of you guys, but I mean, maybe just for me as a reflector, that's how I really feel it.
Yeah, same for me. And, you know, word for word, pretty much. Like, I was very shy as a kid. Very shy as a kid, and that's the one time that I asked my parents if they would take me to a therapist was because I realized that, like, I just had, like, social anxiety, like, when I wanted to talk to somebody new, and, you know, just had my gut just tie up in knots, and I knew that wasn't right. And so
we second lines,
yeah.
man. We don't know in advance. We don't know in advance. No one knows in advance anything anyways, but we extra don't know in advance. We're stuck in a little bubble. This shyness, I notice, is directly related to as it relates to our roles when it comes to intimacy and closeness, you know, be it an actual partnership, romantic, or close friends, you know, but it trickles into the rest of everything. And I totally notice it myself. I see it. There's moments where it's just like, nothing, although my fourth line doesn't make it last long. But then when it's something like, you know, if I'm maybe going out on a date or something, it's just, yeah, I'm withdrawn. I notice. And I'm okay with it. I used to think it was a problem, especially as a dude. You're not supposed to be withdrawn. According to the anatomy, you're supposed to be the opposite. All jokes aside, though, but, you know, that was conditioning. I remember. My true self was much happier just saying, whoa, Sparky, hold on a second. You know, we'll go slow. I'm okay.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think I'm naturally shy. Now, does it like affect my life all that much? I don't think so anymore. Or at least I'm getting to that point, you know. So I do have an open throat, so it's like talking to people, like just speaking often is like kind of hard for me to certain people. So that also plays a factor in it as well. So yeah, I noticed the shyness, but I just push through it wherever, you know.
I agree. It's like that. We're all going to have a slight hue of that one way, shape, or form. It's again, it's just natural for us. There's a little shell around us that keeps us away from the influence of others. That's the thing about that second line. It's a little bubble, and it can be pierced, and it's not impenetrable, but it's resistant a little bit to the influence of others. Have you guys noticed as soon as someone's got something to say, if it starts to veer off course from what you're aligned to, the listening is like painful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like you've used up your allotment of words, bro. You're now on negative territory. I gotta figure a way out, man. Houston, someone give me an assist. I got a phone call, something.
Yeah.
My ability to check out and dissociate is like,
yeah,
nobody can touch it. I'm out.
Right. And you're not mean about it. It's not like it's not even personal. They're not bad. We just don't want. We hold that influence away so that when we naturally see something that's a little bit pristine out in the world, we're now untouched-ish. It's like a superpower. We show up unmessed up when that happens.
Yeah.
What's the next one, Moans?
Moana's got the questions. I'm trying to get a hold of them so I can just take over. There we go. How do you experience others recognizing your talent that you may not see in yourself?
God, that's real specific. How do you experience others? You know what? I'm pretty sure I don't experience them recognizing my talent until they literally go out of their way to bust through my little, like, wanting to not be aware of whatever the hell they're doing this, because I don't want to. As long as if they approach, then I guess I experience that as almost like a surprise. It's like, what? Me? Really?
Yeah.
But the rest of the time, I don't think I even notice.
Yeah, I would have to say I'm kind of in the same boat. We just kind of, do our own thing. We're like in our own boat this whole time. And then unless somebody else is like, hey, good job. You're like, what? What do you mean? I'm just doing my thing. So, yeah.
You know something, but when they do recognize the talent and that's your thing that you're already called into, then I experience it as absolute glee, man. It's freaking rock and roll and hell on wheels with a, flaming Harley and a axe across the back. Yeah. It's good. Yeah, and then I'm all in. Shyness turns to boldness then.
All right, so the next question. How do you experience the tension between your need to be alone and your desire to share?
Nervously.
I don't know if I would say I'm feeling much tension about that kind of stuff anymore. I feel like I'm so much on my hermit side right now, and that may just be because of, external burnout, but it's like I just want to be alone so much these days that it's like I think if I only feel the desire that I need to share is like if something's going on that I just feel like I have to put in my 2 cents worth. But even then I'm still just kind of like, does it even matter? In some situations. I don't know.
How do you experience the tension between your need to be alone and your desire to share? Hermiting versus network. But I would say, I said nervously sort of as a joke. It is a little bit of that, but I do notice that more often than not, I'm busy with my own little trip, even if I'm with others half the time. I'm still, something's working in the background that is in a little bubble compared to whatever's going on. And so, but I never know quite when to share until that moment really arises. So I don't get to know in advance. I just have to wait and respond, in the now. Experience it. But there is, I guess, a tension. I notice this as soon as somebody interrupts me in my own little trip even a little bit, I'm all messed up. Yeah, I mean, not totally, I'm just saying it throws me off. It's like, whoa. I'm not going to remember where I last was, maybe just, but I can't tell them that really, because it would be rude. It's not their fault. It's just, it doesn't take much. One phone call, one text, and suddenly, so I experienced it that way.
I think sometimes I get into this place of like, I need, like, I'm drained socially. I need to be alone, but at the same time, I feel empty because I'm not out with people. And so, how I combat that is I usually just go out to dinner by myself and sit alone. So, I'm surrounded by people and energies, but I'm not talking to anyone. I'm just doing my thing, thinking about whatever, but it fills me up, So.
Yeah.
I do that if I'm working on something. There's a couple of shops I like going to that, like, I don't typically I go, but I just like to be among people. And there's also like, some of them are like the energy there, but there's others that just don't. There's like that component.
You are clicking a little in and out, Chris, I notice. Is anyone else hearing that?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a little bit.
A little clicky.
Check the. Try this.
This one.
Does this help?
What's the last situation that called you into something worthwhile? And describe that feeling. Gosh, Monet, I would have rather you asked it.
What's the
Okay.
last situation that called you into something worthwhile, and describe that feeling?
That was easy.
Respond, generator.
Respond, generator. No. After you, I'm not doing it.
I've got one.
I got one too. What's yours?
So most of my career, as was mentioned in my little blurb, most of my career I've worked as a UI designer for designing user interfaces for websites and software. Earlier this year, I just happened to pop open an email about a camera. It was like a new version of the camera that I wanted several years back, and so I decided just out of the blue to go and go to the like show and tell thing for this camera. And while I was looking at the sample photos that this professional photographer that was talking about the camera had taken, I was realizing that I had like 1,000+ photos that I'd taken when I was in New York City for 6 months back in 2011, street photographs, and that I had a lot of photos that, where I felt, as good as or better than what he was showing us. And so shortly after that, I reached out to a girl at one of the art galleries that my girlfriend and I had bought several pieces at, and asked if she'd be willing to sit down with me and look through my photos. And she said, sure. As we were going through them, just kind of, picking randomly, her eyes were lighting up, and like she kept commenting on how great so many of them were. And it's like, all right. So, talked to my girlfriend about it, and,
You're
next thing
making
you
a
know,
little book. You're going to make
Yeah.
a little book or something, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna have a solo exhibit here
I
at the
love
end of
that.
July. So with my photography, and I've not shown my artwork, physically since college. So
That's awesome.
Shows up out of nowhere. It just always
Yeah.
shows up out of nowhere. You ever notice as soon as you feel good about it, and it's that thing that shows up out of nowhere that suddenly you start doing, that's where we discover what the little natural talent is. And it sort of never fails. Like it's like genetically, that behavior in us is already concluded. It's a foregone conclusion that way.
Oh, and one other fun thing with the timing on all that. The day after I reached out to the girl at the gallery to ask if she'd look at my work, I got an email from that same gallery announcing the date for the opening of their very first exclusively photographed exhibit that they were doing. Because all their exhibits prior to
Dude,
that for the
Dude, you
past,
impacted them. Were you an aura to them? Were you like in their
right?
physical space? Yeah, you impacted them. That's the best.
It's so cool how
Wow.
like the balance between the hermit and being called out, but then being a manifester. Like
Yeah.
that little dynamic where you're like, you need to be recognized and like called out into it. But it's also, you're like, hey, let's reach out to this chick about this.
Yeah.
It just happens. We
I just
need you
think-
guys to do stuff. You guys are the doers. Go make a bunch of stuff and let us follow behind and all that impact, whatever that was.
So, how do you experience others recognizing your talent that you may not see in yourself?
We just answered this one, didn't we? Yeah.
No, that was the last situation that something worthwhile happened. I can ask another one.
Oh no, it's fine. It's others recognize a talent that you may not. Oh,
Yeah, we
Sometimes
did
I
have
don't
that
know.
one a few questions back. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Let me
Okay, we
do the
did
next
have.
one. I got the questions in two different places that I'm pulling from them, and then there's a little bit of overlap. So like, whoop. So next one, how have you learned to recognize correct versus incorrect calling out of your energy within your networks?
Surely by the feel of response and the amount of energy my generator body gives to me in the now. And if it doesn't give the energy, I am not called. It's such an accurate mechanism. All I have to do is watch it.
Yeah, I would definitely say
Doesn't
my
mean I'm not cool.
intuition really
Doesn't mean I'm not
pulls.
cool and accidentally hop in. I do that. It happens. A little too much excitement. I skip the step of noticing. That happens, but mostly I'm protected by that. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh no, you're good.
I'm done.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I would say for me it's that, intuition gut feeling like this feels just not right. Like there's just no cohesion to the energy flow of it. And it's just like, nah, I'm good. We'll pass on that one.
Correct calling.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say just like going back to sensing others' needs, it's almost like an empathic kind of thing, right? And so like when someone like calls me out and they're coming from a place of like anger or like unreasonable expectations, passive aggressiveness, whatever, like it's a huge no, you know? So
Yeah, for sure.
Hey guys, you ever feel like a pussy because you hermited yourself? Like when you were younger or something or along the way? I've had that happen. I'm like, what am I doing? But then I just stay gone and suddenly my life is correct.
yeah.
I've had that experience.
Cool. Final question. How do you experience your bonding strategy of shyness to boldness through yourself and your relationship?
Exactly backwards when I was younger. That's how. all to my detriment and 2 divorces later. I never got into the relationship as myself, almost never, that I realized until I slowed down and recognized that as it comes to that kind of energy, it's almost always shyness before boldness. Almost always. I don't know when it's the other way around, but I can't say it's like a rule, like a maxim or an axiom, but it seems to be just about like that. Shyness before boldness, and I didn't know. That's for me anyways. I don't know how you guys have experienced it.
Yeah, for me, it depends on who I'm with. Definitely the polarity thing, I think. So it's someone
Yeah.
who's, super shy themselves, then I tend to be the more bold
Right.
one.
Yep.
But yeah, my current partner is a 3-5 generator, sacral authority, and she's in tech sales and like loves talking and meets friends everywhere she goes, and
Yeah.
she's the talkative one.
Yep.
and I just like kind of, sit and watch and take it all in. And if I have something to add, then I'll speak up, and if I don't, then I'll just observe and
Right. So
Yeah,
interesting
I'm okay
being
with
us,
that.
and we are so interesting. I love this profile. So unique. The experience bonding. Yeah. I used to just only really be bold, basically, but I know it's supposed to be a decent mix. Generally, all I know is if I go running headlong into things, it never works out for me so far.
Yeah.
So I've just found out the hard way, that was the case. But at least I'm wise, I'm smart as F. So
Yeah, I would say I'm big on calculation these days. Just in general, it's like I have to really feel out the dynamics of where the shyness belongs, where the boldness belongs, and how to give and take at the same time. So
yeah, because on the other side of that, our fourth line has a strategy in bonding that after boldness is there, it's confidant or not, friend or not, whether or not it's about trust.
yeah,
Like you trust in friends or not. And if they can't feel like a real confident, then boldness will turn into, emptiness in a way. It just goes away. So basically, I can't deal with the plastic world, I guess is what I'm saying. Not even a little, not one tiny little bit.
yeah,
not
hard same.
Not no more, anyways.
I'd say for me, it used to cause problems in my relationships. I had to learn like more about myself, when I needed to get alone time, when to be with my partner or whatever. Because even like when they wanted to be with me or like come over or whatever, but I like really needed alone time, I would have to learn that like, well, if I do let them come over, then I won't like them, like
Right.
there's this resentment that comes in that's just unhealthy. So yeah.
That's too funny. 4 people that are looking at all of this. I think this is great. Hi, Moana.
Are we ready to have some fun?
I thought we
Right.
were.
I mean, yes. I mean, more relaxed, less thinking. I mean, they're still thinking.
Yes. Wait,
So-
thinking's not fun.
Now we need our phones.
And now you need your phones.
Okay.
I will bring up the things. Do-do-do-do-do.
You have to be a pretty pathetic person.
Okay, so let me know on your end if the sound is okay.
I bet they're the
If it's
type
too
of
loud
party
or
that
too
puts out
quiet.
a veggie tray.
Yeah, and they probably have a pre-scheduled time for when the party ends. Well, it's 10 o'clock.
Jackbox, that's what it is.
Oh, just thinking about
Yeah,
it. Sorry I
Jackbox.tv.
ever brought it up.
Me too. A group that would actually listen in on our dumb conversations.
So now I
What
just
losers?
need Danny to enter and pick his little thing. So I'll
Yeah.
explain the premise of this game. So it is a game where you are trying to predict data.
Hey, Sheila, what are you doing with those classified folders you
Okay.
leave the building with?
There will be
It's
more
not what you think.
explanation
These are gag
if
folders.
you listen
It
to
says
the
classified.
the game
'cause you
host.
crossed out
They fill you in.
classified and wrote that
And
yourself with
then
a Sharpie.
everyone tries to
I
guess
outrank you.
if
I
the
don't
person
need
who
this.
initially did the
Okay,
first guess
see
if
you
they're
later,
right. So
Snowy.
this is our warm-up game. We are only playing one round of this. So just so you know, this is just a nice little warm-up before we do more challenging games. I'm very excited to do the second game.
Whoa,
Not the second, the
what
third
the-
game.
what does that mean?
Because that's going
Oh,
to be
that's
like
right,
the
you knew.
mini warm-up.
It's just a nuclear.
But yes, Danny, are you
We have them every month or
needing
so.
I'm
any
in.
assistance?
Where do we
Okay, you're
go?
in now. So
I'm
then,
in the
Chris,
bus.
you're the VIP. You
doing?
can say everybody's
That's
in
really
on your phone,
Yeah,
and
kind of.
I
Yeah,
will
you should have a tank.
bid you adieu until the game's done.
Hello, we've been watching you. Wait, that sounded weird. We've been watching you, and now we're sharing your secrets with the public.
Oh, no.
Not much better. Oh well. We made a game out of all this info, and we call it Guespionage. Let's have some analytical fun. First up. All right, buckle in. I've got one for you. What percentage of people regularly check their horoscopes? Make it a good guess. You'll get more points the closer your guess is to the actual percentage. We have an answer. 17%. Everyone else, do you think the correct answer is higher or lower? Everyone says higher except for one of you. Okay, let's see the right answer. 7%. Wow, you were pretty close.
Dang.
Who said lower? Here's some points. Next up. This next question doesn't apply to Oscar the Grouch. What percentage of people have eaten something out of a trash can?
Oh, wow.
And if you're in the audience, don't forget to answer the question. 36%. Everyone else, higher or lower?
Interesting.
One lonely vote for lower. And the correct answer is 24%. Well, well, well. Was it worth it? Who got it right? Here's some points.
Yay, Chris.
Yeah, I know, Chris. You're killing it.
Who's
Yeah.
next? I don't know. How about... What percentage of people own hardware tools they don't know how to use?
Oh, wow.
– 16%. What do y'all think? Higher or lower?
Interesting.
Just one person says lower. Okay, let's see the right answer. 43%. Reminds me, I gotta see if there's an online manual for my new hammer. Let's see who got it right. Ooh, points for you.
Why would
Okay.
you buy a tool if you don't know how to use it, right?
Right.
It's common.
All right, Surveillance Pro, what do you have for this? What percentage of people have done the chicken dance at wedding receptions?
Oh, no.
Freaking stupid. I refuse to answer.
60%. Okay, higher or lower? Just one of you is saying higher. Now let's get to the right answer. 57%.
That was close.
I've got big
Good
points
guess.
for that guess. Who got it right? Well done. You get points. Let's see where things stand after round one.
Interesting.
Chris, you're
Time for
killing it.
round two.
All right, that was round one. How do we feel? Nice and warmed up?
I'm very bad at this game.
I feel great.
Perfect. So the next one should be a lot more easy.
So, guys, just so you know, I think we have to enter the code again. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm like, why am I stuck in this loop? I want to leave. Let me leave. Escape. Are you sure you want to exit? Yes. What? I feel like I am. Oh, back to pack. My gosh. I don't know how to operate my own game. It's fine. No one noticed.
It's a good thing I'm not.
So this game's super simple. I don't even have to explain it because the game does a very good job explaining it. You're going to be putting in some answers. There's going to be lots of laughter and good times. Here's your new code. Enjoy.
BSH.
Everybody, right? Or we're missing two.
Yes, this is everybody.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Schmitty, and I hope to meet or exceed your expectations. Good-looking group, judging by your names anyway. Round 1. I'm going to beam 2 prompts to your device. Answer them however you choose. What you type goes up against what someone else types, and everyone votes on the winner. You score based on the percentage of players who like your answer. Plus, there are winner's bonuses at stake. Go!
Yeah, maybe. One of those. Did everyone put answers in? I did. I'm done.
I just finished mine.
Well, I would like the 24 seconds to be down to 2.
Time's running out. Use a safety quip if you need it. Okay, moment of truth. Up first, if the Liberty Bell were truly patriotic, it would make this sound. Okay, select your favorite quip. And next, the 1960s Batman was so goofy, one episode saw Batman and Robin fighting blank. Vote now. Next prompt. Why Wolverine can't make a relationship work. It's voting time. Okay, next one. You can tell your parents are glad to have you out of the house when they turn your room into a blank. Put in your votes.
Oh.
That's it. Let's see the scores for round 1. Onward to round 2. Remember, all points and bonuses are doubled. Hurry, hit the safety quit button if you can't think of something. Let's see how you did. Number 1 on the list, why you shouldn't party with Vikings. Okay, choose your favorite. Next in line, a rejected first draft line from The Shining. Here's blank. Time to vote.
That's awesome.
There's Niles. Don't work. I was trying to think of that guy from. Got the show.
Next on the list, the one thing they don't show you on the Pentagon tour is the secret blank room. And vote.
Yeah.
Whoopsie.
Wow. Good one.
That was a good one.
Yeah. I know they ain't showing that room.
Nope.
Next one, Elvis's last words, probably. Get to voting.
Elvis was open throat.
Round 2 is now complete. Let's see where we landed.
I failed last game, so that's fair.
This is round 3, the last lash. Everyone's taking aim at the same prompt this time. Make up the full name for this acronym. Everybody's in. Okay, in round 3, you get to award both a gold and a silver medal to your top 2 quips. Have at it.
So what are we doing? Now we're voting for it?
Yeah.
I notice all the names are in all caps.
Okay, let's bring out those medals. Here's the silver and gold. Okay, let's change those medals into points. That's the game. Let's see the final scores.
I got knocked out.
Yay!
I managed to hold on to second place. Look at that.
Nice. That was fun. Pokey.
Well then, Sarah, you like knocked it out of the park with that one.
I think it's because I bombed
she
so
did.
bad on the last game.
That means Chris will. Well, the next game, to everyone's merriment, is a. What's my brain? It is a cooperative one. So while I go find it, hold on, I can remove this for a second. So, Danny, do you
Yeah.
remember that one? Well, you never played it. Oh, that's going to be fun. So basically, you have to work together to make sure you don't blow up.
Oh, dear.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So, guys, we have to be frog because they say things that are designed to confuse, but they do say it. There's only a couple layers. So yeah.
Okay.
We have a startup. Is that what it is?
Well, they'll like say, cut there's like 3 wires. Cut this wire. Don't cut that wire. And they'll give 3 separate clues, and we have to figure it out. So.
Yeah, so
that's
what
fine.
happens, everyone's going to have different sets of instructions. So you have to work together to make sure everybody knows what order it's in.
What's
Sorry,
the
say that
code
again,
to get
Danny?
in? What's the code to get in?
I haven't started it yet.
Oh.
Now this is the code.
You.
Defuse as many bombs as you can before you explode. Have fun.
I'm the controller on this because I have the wires in front of me.
Okay.
So
Who has page 1?
No even wires.
yeah, someone will have the pages.
I have page 3.
We're supposed to like read it or something,
Yeah,
like out loud.
Yeah.
someone's got a page 1.
Cut all odd wires if the bomb was made after 1992.
So cut no odd wires. Oh, wait, it was so cut. Okay. So
Okay,
cut
I have
the odd-
page 2.
So now
Mine
it's-
says, do not cut the second wire, even if another rule says you should.
So we're still cutting wires 1 and 3, is what the instructions say, right?
Yep.
Okay, what's the last one? You probably have it, Chris.
Page 3, cut all even wires if the bomb was made before 2011.
So this says cut off 4 wires.
But mine says, do not cut the second wire, even if another rule says you should.
Oh, that's right. So,
Wait, read the third rule again. Don't cut the.
Third rule is cut all even wires if the bomb was made before 2011.
I think it's the fourth one then, or before 2011 or after. Sorry,
before.
Before.
Before, so it's
so it's 4 then.
1, 3, 4?
Yep, that's what I just said.
Oh,
Woo. That was close.
okay, I have page 1. Page 2
Go
is
for it.
supposed to say even instead of odd.
So that would mean that page 2 says cut all even numbered wires. What does page 3 say?
Page 2 says do not cut wire 2, even if page 2 says that.
I was a millisecond away from getting the third click. Second.
Yeah, that went
Plus
this way.
4. Good.
Page 1 changes. On page 3. Are we still doing this?
Okay, so going forward, if you have page 1, just go.
Okay.
And then,
Yeah.
and then when they're done, page 2 goes, page 3 goes.
I still have the same page 3. Do not cut wire.
Yeah, I
2.
think you have to choose on your phone to try again, not on my end.
Retry.
Okay, I got 1. Cut the first wire if it is red. So we're not cutting the first wire.
Nope.
Page 2, cut the third wire if it is green.
Okay, so we're
Page
cutting
3.
3, but
Cut the
Page
second
3.
wire if it is white.
Okay, so there we go. All right.
Do not cut the second wire, even if it is blue.
Cut all blue wires.
all blue. Mine says cut the third wire if it is green. So the third wire again.
What was the second one?
Cut all blue wires. So yeah, just cut 3.
Cut number 3.
Cut all red wires.
Cut the second wire. And who's number 3?
Cut green wires only if they are the fourth wire. Do not cut any other green wires, even if it contradicts other rules.
I have page 4. Do not cut the first wire, even if it is red.
So we also got to cut. Cool.
Manuals.
Sorry, last. I don't even know what that was.
I have no
Yeah,
idea what that was
those-
either.
Yeah, that was some.
So happy news is you beat last week's record. They defused no bombs.
Yay!
Nice.
The other crazy thing is you went so far that you got to the next level of hardness, which is you needing to organize a cabinet of folders. So that happens after you get good enough defusing bombs that's the next challenge.
Well, dang, look at us go.
Huh.
I was in awe at how quickly you all pick that up. So it's up to you if you want to do one more round, or
No, let's just go full screen and talk about shit and stuff.
it's up to our guests. So, I mean, you are a guest, but you're also not. So it's up to Chris
That's
and
funny.
Chad and Sarah what
I gotta
you
get
would
the
like
door
to
open
do.
real fast.
I'm good either way.
Yeah, I'm good either way. I think we could probably just talk too.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah,
Let
good
me.
talk.
Boop.
Except for Danny, he doesn't want to talk. Disappeared.
He's like, no.
I think he went to the bathroom or something. But yes, feel free to chat amongst yourselves until Danny comes back and share your two goodness.
I just had to check on Willie. He escapes his compound. My cat, I had to build him a compound so he doesn't get out into the road. And he started escaping it. And now I got to figure out a way to fence him in a little harder. Well,
I'll
he
be right
gets older. He's too young. He'll run out and freaking like the last one. So
Yeah, we built my cat a catio because, well, he's a black cat and we live in town. And so it's like, no, you're going to be safe if you go outside.
right. Right. No, I get it. With my luck, he'll whatever. He's too young. He doesn't know yet. So I'm trying to train him. But that was cool.
Yeah, that was kind of fun.
I was watching us go as it relates to that whole wire thing, and I was like, wow, we were pretty good.
Yeah.
But that was pretty cool. Someone cut the two wires before a fourth question got answered. Did you notice that? Yeah. That was perfect. I was like, I saw him flip, and I'm like, well, wait, there's a fourth question. Someone started asking. I was like, oh, please. That was funny.
That was pretty cool. I didn't realize that was an actual option. Like when it showed up on my phone, I'm like, I'm not touching those. No way.
Right. They're hacking me. That's funny. Yeah, I did get it the very first week, I remember, and then I suddenly it took a second, but it was good.
I guess on
So
the
what do we
folder
think,
sorting one.
Oh,
we had
what?
to Just, I guess on the folder sorting one, we had to like call out who we had, and then the person that
Yeah.
was supposed to have the first one had to press their button, and then down the line.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Well, I guess we're natural at creating a chain of command and a flow of information. Maybe that's a thing.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. So, what do we think? 2 4s across the designs. We make a good team, a good group. We function together well.
Apparently, if we're even a little bit awake or more, then yeah, apparently that's how it works.
I'm exhausted, so.
Ah,
Yeah.
have you guys noticed that you've seen this whole like self, not self thing? Have you noticed that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What do you
Chad?
mean?
Just this whole like where you start getting really just pissed at everything and no energy's pouring out because you're too trapped in your head.
Yeah, 100%.
Burnout.
Chris, you the peace and anger, those two.
In my earlier years, let's say that the past few years after doing a lot of work on myself, just learned the kind of the distinction between reacting and responding, and learned to take a deep breath.
Yeah.
I realized that something, got under
So
my
it's always
skin.
there. It's always there,
Yeah.
though. It's your friend, dude. It's your friend. It's
Yeah.
road sign, man. It's freaking red road sign. It's
Yeah.
so you've seen it that way now, right? As like your companion. It's like, no, not doing it.
Yeah.
Type thing. Yeah.
So just gotta, just kind of try to remember the whole thing of, if it's not gonna matter, in 5 years, then don't let yourself be upset about it for more than 5 minutes.
Yeah. Right.
And usually I don't even allow that much time unless it's, there's a
Right,
reason to. So
So what's it like when you're like things are going right and you're sort of are at peace? You might not even notice it at first. I don't know.
Yeah.
Suddenly things are good, and I can imagine you have to look back over a few days to start to recognize, oh yeah, more of this. I don't know. So I'm asking.
Yeah, that one's tricky for me because the work that I've done the past few years came after a divorce in 2017, which followed getting laid off, and I've only had one real job since then, by choice. So I haven't really had as many triggers, I guess. Things that would typically have made me frustrated or angry.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
It's hard. Sarah, have you noticed this binary that flows back and forth between this? The disappointment can be profound, like this sucks, but the surprise is equally profound. Surprise doesn't even do it justice. It's like an elated, rich, juicy, full surprise on certain things. But
Yeah.
you tell me.
Oscillating between those two is really tough because there was a good time there that I had a psychologist think that I was bipolar, because my highs were so high and my lows were so low, and it was like that still doesn't feel right though. Like I don't want these meds. I don't, and then
they don't know.
Yeah, and so it's like when I'm able to actually really look at it and figure out why I'm so low. Like, because that, nobody really cares when you're high. It's like, yes, I'm up here, I'm having a great time. But it's like, when I can step back and be like, okay, I really, really understand that I'm not in a good place. I am at a very bad low. What have I got to step back from? What do I have to step away from? What do I need to start doing to get back up to even, that medium ground? And, and it's hard, especially like, I'm trying really hard to get out of corporate America and just, out from, selling 40 hours of my life to a desk every week, and I know that is such a huge damper, on my existence. And it's like, it's hard to be in a place where, we're so dependent on that, corporate lifestyle for, bills and making sure you can pay rent and, that it's
the world that's been arranged for us is not for us.
No, it's not friendly
for anybody. Our nine-centered form is not supposed to be looking into this whole corporate madness to try and find a material way by inflating things that suck-ish half the time. It's just not. We're not actually supposed to be doing that. Star Trek had it right. They just couldn't really explain how they got there, but
right. Please
they never really did. But no, I got it after a while. It's just sort of had to fill in the blanks. But this world's got to get retooled. I'm on a mission to do that. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think there definitely needs to be a revolution there.
Revolution renaissance. Yeah, you were the one that snickered the loudest when I said the adrenochrome extraction room. I think that was you, Sarah. That I heard. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and you, Chad, you've seen this. You've seen this deep frustration move into like you can't even tell you're satisfied because you're a little natural. You have to sort of, again, it's all because we're two boards. You have to sort of look back over part of the day to recognize, oh God, I really like this. This is good. But it's just that it's also not often enough when you first sort of start finding out. But it shows up. It starts showing up, especially doing something with your hands.
Yeah, well, and I think that's the part that's just really bugged me down so much about my life is because I've always been an artist. I've always been creative, like even as a kid. And so it's like, you know, I went to a private art college. I wasted 19 grand for absolutely nothing because I wasn't even being educated in art college. So I gave that up. I gave up my dream for art because I was like, well, I can't even, you know, make a living off of it because nobody wants to pay for it. Everybody wants it, but nobody wants to pay for it. So when opera came along, it was like, yes, I'm going to sink my teeth into this. And I did for like 5 years. And it was like the best thing of my life. And then, well, all of a sudden now you're too old to do competition. So now you got to foot your own, you know, experience. You got to foot your own career. And I'm like, with what? Like, I got to work a full-time job, but still do my music in the meantime and not overexert myself and burn out. And it's like, because I'm a reflector, that just doesn't work for how I exist in this world. So it's like, I had to give that up in a way, you know? And so when the iridology came along, I was like, oh, this is actually not only doing good for people, but it's something I love and I'm helping people and I can actually make a living off of it in the long run, you know, when I can really get it all stamped down. So it's like anything to get back, you know, to where I operate my best is definitely what I'm aiming for. So
We're meant to be creative. I have to tell you, the way money is actually set up. I mean, I didn't know this before, but I've seen it so clearly for a while. Money is set up in a really stupid way. Most of our payments are done through things like the affection from the other, and suddenly we just did a ton of work, you know, happily, because of the affection that's there, that which creates a bond. Altruism. It always feels good to give someone something, and when you're feeling good about it, you do work, you do stuff. Empowerment, right? When we're empowered or the other's empowered, it's like suddenly we're doing all that stuff is, and a couple others that are built into our genome actually does most of the need, fulfills most of the need for payment. In reality, we just don't know how to let that be true.
Right.
Basically, go back to when we were all like 17 and 16 and 14 and 15 and found a cool place in the woods, and all of us buds got together and did the thing, and there was no money changing hands. We were just pumped to do the thing.
Yeah, you're just having fun and a good time.
That we're actually meant to more be that way than what currently is set up, you know?
Yeah.
Of course, there's probably no real money in that, so I don't blame them for not setting it up. They're like, screw that, we're not giving the humans what they want that way.
Right.
It's insane. It's insane. Fire that guy.
All right, friends. I'm going to make sure the twos don't get too tired. Because their 4 is like, I need to be polite and stay on. So this is Mary giving your permission slip that it is okay to leave now. But before you do so, please let everybody know where they can find you and anything you'd like our audience to know if they'd like to connect with you.
I'm on Instagram, sorcha.frisbee, sorcha.frisby.
You can put it in the chat too, Sarah.
Okay.
And same goes for everyone else. And what was I going to say? Yes, Chris and Chad, feel free to plug yourselves so everyone can find you and all the things.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for having me.
Yes, Sarah, nice to meet you, Chris. Nice to meet you, Chad. Bro.
Okay, see you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Yep, give a call. I hope you guys call, man. Text me. It'll be great. Let's catch up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm in.
Here, I'll just put this in the chat.
A second.
Very cool. Thank you guys. It was super fun, like listening to all the like the differences, like the similarities and the differences that would come through of the similarities of like the 2-4, but then the differences in the type, and then like how you guys played the games compared to like the other people and stuff. It's really fun.
Moni, I noticed we were all mostly shut the F up. I thought that was great.
Yeah, but
I mean,
even like the way you guys were playing the game, like how you guys figured it out, and then like it took a second to you guys like figure it, and then once you did, you guys were like good to go.
I think there's a natural capacity amongst us to recognize the others got it, and it's going to happen naturally. Maybe, I don't know. But I know we killed it. I was like, wow, hey, I guess we do that thing. Mission Impossible over here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very
So
cool.
we're gonna read the sun transits. Is that
Yeah,
what we're doing?
We're gonna be doing the transits next.
No kidding. Awesome.
Yeah,
Off
it's
the
pretty
way.
fun. And it's neat too, since we've been doing the transits, but since we do a weekly show, but the transits are every 6 days, So every so often we're going to skip one. So we just bypassed the 12 and the 11 over our week that we were gone. And now we're going to be jumping straight into the 15 and the 10.
The cross of the vessel. I knew that.
I know, it's a vessel of love time. This is our time to shine, Danny. This is me and you.
Yes, 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 it is. Do I speak here? I forgot what order we go in. So there we are. Yep.
Yes, I mean, we're just gonna like break it down and explain everything, and then yeah, when you feel called to respond, then please do. So we're
Mhm.
looking at the wheel right now, and so we can see that the sun has shifted into gate 15, which is the gate of modesty and the gate of extremes. You can see that right down at the bottom of the mandala wheel. And then on the other side, we have the earth in gate 10, which is the behavior of self, and it's up top. And the other fun thing is that the vessel of love times, right? So the 15, the 10, and then the 25 and the 46 are part of the cross of the vessel of love. And that's always during the equinox and the solstice. So we're heading up towards the summer solstice where the sun is going to be in gate 15, which is extremes and the extremes of the sun. And I think that's kind of fun that that lines up that way.
I should try and arrange a little solstice party going for
Always,
Friday,
always.
maybe. Yep, cool. I was gonna wait till the end and just say a bunch of stuff.
Cool. I'm going to read through gate 15 then.
How's it go? So we got 15 and then we got 10 and then there's one slide after it.
Then we got the incarnation crosses and then the hexagrams.
Cool. So we'll say a bunch of stuff when you're done reading 15.
Yeah, perfect. I think that's a great idea. So the sun this week is going to be in gate 15. It's the gate of modesty. It's the gate of extremes. The quality of behavior, which expresses the proper balance between extremes. It's in the identity center. It's part of the collective circuitry, which is about sharing, right? Collective is always about sharing. And then it's part of the understanding and the logic circuit specifically within the collective. The sub-circuit is the part of the logical, and it's the understanding circuit. Gate 15 links up to gate 5, which is fixed patterns. And then the 15 and the 5 is the channel of rhythms, right? So like the gate 15 is extremes and gate 5 is like consistency and patterns, right? And it's the flow and the rhythm of nature that we have these natural things that are happening, right? These consistent things of how the seasons are changing and what is going on. And then you have the extremes, right?
The extreme within the natural pattern. Yeah.
Exactly. And
The
so
extreme pattern. Yeah.
by understanding and accepting the diverse and opposite tempos that are part of humanity, you fully embrace and promote for all of us what it means to be human.
Gate 15, the love of humanity. And it's called modesty because its design is so loving of humanity that if you have gate 15 in your body graph, you have this urge in you, even if it's in an open center. This is always coming through where whatever the extreme is, there's a desire in gate 15, a genetic proclivity to share and take a type of action that helps fuel a direction towards that extreme thing being made modest so it can now enter the flow. The I Ching called it modesty. And it wasn't modesty because it starts out modest and demure. It was, as you get into the explanation, it was the bringing into the modesty that which is already extreme. And 15, being the love of humanity, better be the love of extremes and the gate of extremes, the extreme nature of thing. And you hook up with someone who's got a gate 5 and you got a gate 15, that's a hard electromagnetic. One person's all over the place like a fire hose, and the other one is like, quit it.
It's me and my boyfriend.
Really?
Yes,
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
He totally has the consistency as gate 5, and I have 15. So it's always my crazy nonsense that he's getting sucked into.
Right.
And then he keeps me nice and grounded.
It's just so, but 15 is doing that. Part of the vessel needs to be shared. That understanding circuit, this is a rhythm that helps create the thing to identify, to put into a rhythm, being worth understanding, to then put into some kind of logical action for the survival of our future. This is part of a logical process, bringing extreme things into a more modest format so that it can enter the flow.
Yeah. How do you?
Same time, it would also, there will be certain instances where certain extremes will be rejected, whatever, but that's not normally the first eye of the 15 is how can I bring this into the flow?
Yeah. How do we bring it in to be part of that, which is like the sum of all? And yeah, like you said, sometimes those extremes are too far and like the society is going to balance that in like whatever way it needs to. But yeah,
Well,
how can we take this that's on the extreme and like, can we make it work within the whole for everybody?
right, exactly. So if you're a 15 and or a vessel of love incarnation cross, and the mean people are trying to say how the other one is not, doesn't belong, or this or that, you're immediately going to that defense, at least to start with, or questioning it. And if you just go along with it, it hurts. Doesn't feel morally right.
Hmm.
15 is there to be morally encompassing, yet discerning when it gets to gate 5 back to the pattern. Because if you truly don't fit in the pattern, then just like in the wild kingdom, you die off.
Hmm.
That's a thing.
Yeah, fascinating. So next up, we have the Earth, which is in gate 10, which is the gate, it's treading, it's the gate of the behavior of self. It is the underlying code of behavior which ensures successful interaction despite circumstances. This one's a really interesting one because it has a lot going on. So just like the 15, it's part of the identity center, right? All the vessel of love gates are actually part of the identity center. And it is it's individual circuitry. It's part of integration, and self-empowerment is the key word to remember for the circuitry of integration, right? And so
Mm.
10 is really interesting, right? Because it's connecting to multiple different gates. So it connects to gate 57, which is intuitive insight, which makes the 1057, which is the channel of perfective form, right? So the gate 10 is about the behavior, right? It's the only reason any of us are behaving is because gate 10 exists to be like, hey, this is what is correct and incorrect behavior, right? So gate 57 is that intuitive insight to then know what is the correct behavior. And then 10 also connects to gate 20, which is the gate of now, in this moment. So the 1020 is the channel of awakening, right? So it's correct behavior in the time right now, correct behavior in the now. And then the other sub-circuit that it connects into is part of the centering circuit, which is about empowerment, right? So you have self-empowerment and empowerment, which is kind of interesting because they're different things, right? So
Yeah.
when it connects to gate 34, 34 is pure power, right? That is pure sacral power to the gate 10, which is about behavior, the expression of behavior. So it's the power to behave correctly according to oneself. And it's this channel of exploration, right? And as you come to know, accept, and love what makes you unique, you empower others to love themselves as well, right? So gate 10 is really powerful that it's connecting in all these places about like our correct behavior and loving ourselves and being self-empowered and empowering towards others.
And think about what this correct behavior is. The first correct behavior is your strategy and authority. So it's yourself. It's as yourself. It's not as you fit into the herd. It's as that the correct behavior is as yourself. You know, and the other thing about this whole gate 10 is that when it is connected to 34, 34 forces it to look inward, because gate 10 is its own behavior. A gate 10 in a body graph will recognize its behavior next to the other, and in and of itself. But when it's connected to 34, it doesn't really look at the behavior of others as much at all. It's always looking inward, always absorbed inside the self exploration. When it's not connected to 34, regardless of the configuration, could be connected to 20, 57, not connected, open center, it doesn't matter at that point. As soon as it's not connected to 34, it is concerning itself with the behavior of others. So it's a binary. It's a binary going on.
Yeah.
So a third of the behavior is looking inward. We need that apparently for self-exploration. This is our consciousness program after all. And about 2/3 of it is definitely looking outward, probably more. It's probably more like 1/5, 4/5. Looking outward, gate 10, looking outward at the behavior of everything else. So it's a perfect juxtaposition, one to the other. And if you notice, it's always doing that, the human design, system. So gate 10 is the love of the self. And the I Ching called it, they had a phrase for it, treading.
With the tiger.
Yeah, and it was called treading on the tail of a tiger, beware. So if you're going to play with the tail of a tiger, you better have completely correct and accurate behavior. And other forms of behavior. If you go into the jungle with a boom box and making a ton of noise and crackling everything and talking and stuff, something's going to come find you and eat you.
Have a weird time.
That's not the correct behavior for that. And so gate 10 is all about, and that behavior is driven by the love of self, and it's connected to the love of our survival. we still have to survive every day, every conversation, every meal, all of it. And sometimes there's actual survival concerns. So put it together, and this is part of the cross of the vessel of love that right now is making the conscious arm of that, the love of humanity and the love of self. And so what do we expect to see in the transit? It's in the, so 15 in the sun is the, so expect a wide open this week while this is in the sun, a sense of a relaxing of your judgment of the extremes. Hey, that's a pretty cool place to be. What do you make of that? I didn't know I would say that.
Oh yeah, no, I love the things that you always say. It's also interesting too because 15 extremes is also in Venus. So
Right
like,
now?
yeah, it's right now. It's totally right now.
Oh, so the morals of it all and the values that are gonna ultimately get enshrined and embedded, being worked on. So the values being worked on through the way in which our behavior is gonna act out our love of humanity is likely to basically take all of humanity right now on this globe and make them a little more tolerant about the extremes.
And making sure like that we're grounded in our own correct behavior, right? Because it's like there's always
Right.
some crazy stuff going on. Like the world is full of all sorts of things in all sorts of directions and crazy things that might be like difficult to handle. And so like with the earth and 10, like how can we ground ourselves within like our correct behavior and put ourselves in alignment? Because we can't control the world, right? You can try and you'll probably lose your mind in that process, right? So like how can we ground ourselves within our correct behavior and know what is right for us so that extremes is happening and we can have a sense of it like, okay, how do I like accept this? Or how it, maybe it's not. Maybe that's something that's too far extreme and maybe that's like goes against our correct behavior, right? And that's
Right.
our own personal balance, right? And that's
Not
again,
gonna fit the pattern, won't fit the pattern.
yeah, and
Right.
our own strategy and authority, right? Because like, cool, maybe those extremes have to be accepted within the world, but like for me and my correct behavior, I'm gonna like go into myself, right? It's both, and I think it's that
It
interesting
really
dance
is.
and that balance, right? And like the extreme of like the sun.
With
Like,
the driving force, because when the sun is in a gate, you can count on everything in your life being colored and conditioned in a sense by what that sun is doing in that gate. It's a program, it's a genetic program feeding through us, through the energy communication we have with the sun. And it's palpable. I can't wait till science starts measuring it so that they can finally see it. But what an interesting opposition. W- Every time I see the opposition, I'm like, what's the purpose of that as it relates to the advancing of consciousness and the survival of the species while we advance consciousness?
mhm,
I mean, because that's the program we're in. It's apparent.
mhm.
So, do we need to read this before I answer that question to
No,
myself?
I think we can finish off your first thought, right? So like, and then we'll go to the incarnation crosses, right? Yeah, I do. I think it really has to do about like aligning ourselves, right? And the whole like 2027 human design shift, where it's just like this is about like ourselves, our individual awakening, us learning to live correctly as ourselves, right? Because it's like it's got to start at home. It's got to start within ourselves first, right? You can't like you want to change the world, like I don't know, clean your room first and make sure like you're in order before trying to change everybody else, right? And I think that's a really big thing of it because there's so much happening and it's crazier every day and robots and AI and who knows whatever else is going on in the world, right? But grounding ourselves into like what we know is correct for us, for our behavior, for our individual behavior and our individual empowerment, and be really like secure in that and foundationally secure, so then when those extreme things come along, we can handle it, whether we accept that into our life or I say, cool, good for you, I'm going to be over here, right? Whatever that may be, so we can continue to move through correctly because, the world's a crazy place and we hear way more information than we can possibly handle. So finding that balance, I think, is really important.
Is it possible to see what Chris just wrote? He just wrote something.
Oh,
But
he's writing fun things about tigers and
oh,
synchronicities and stuff. Yeah, more like fun.
all good, all good.
Oh, yeah.
And
And then
sweet
we have one
positive
of our,
thinking.
oh, yeah.
Oh,
So,
she's got 103457. Yep, yep.
yeah.
Trifect. Yeah. So, but to finish my thought, this opposition. So, what is this thing doing to planet Earth? The extremes must be filtered through our behavior in order to protect our movement into staying here, meaning surviving, and witnessing the advancement of our own consciousness and our own communion with the other. This opposition says, hey, extremes, we need you, but you're bridled on two ends. The wisdom of your extremeness must get boiled down. Like the syrup comes from gallons and gallons of sap. You get a couple quarts of syrup, right? It's
Yeah.
the same thing here. From gallons and gallons of extreme stuff, because there's no shortage of it, it is tempered by the 5 that fixes the pattern that will kick certain extremes out. There are certain extremes. Hey, ice pick man, you're too extreme. You're out. You know.
Yeah.
So sometimes, but
Yeah,
most of
sounds
it won't. But and then it's bridled by the behavior. The behavior will say or or to what degree my love of myself will filter to what degree we will allow and deal with and work with the extreme stuff that will all be made modest. All be made modest in a loving acceptance of humanity. Ultimately, is what this thing is doing. That's what this opposition is doing right now. I wonder if anyone feels that. It's
I mean, I've
incredible.
definitely been feeling some extremes coming up. Like, whoa.
Yeah, well, there's about to be a world war, man. It's all going
Well,
down.
well, let's just focus on the human design side of that, on what we can actually handle, right? Because we can't
Next
handle
slide. Next
like
slide.
yeah, absolutely. So incarnation crosses, right? So for the people who are born this week, then we got a couple incarnation crosses, right? We first have the right angle cross of the vessel of love. People who are naturally concerned about the welfare of humanity, bringing diversity into the flow.
Period. Yeah.
Yeah, then when it's going to shift over in a couple days to the 4-1, we'll have the juxtaposition cross of extremes. People fixed in their own, usually extreme rhythm, and not always in the flow with others, naturally shining a spotlight on what needs to be corrected. Right. So there you go. It's like, we can accept the extremes, and then there's certain times where it's like, yo, that needs to be corrected. That is too far within the extreme. And how can we like bring it into something fixed and foundational, right?
So the juxtaposition cross is always riding that edge so we don't miss anything. That's what it sounds like.
That's
right?
cool.
And left angle.
Yeah, the left angle cross of prevention. People who always seem to meet what does not work. A gift used lovingly to guide society away from making the same mistakes again, right? So these are probably people who are like bumping into things a lot. And like that's really important. It's really important to know what doesn't work, right? It might be kind of difficult for the person until they get used to it and realize it's a gift, right? It might be really frustrating. But once you can realize, oh, this is actually a gift to help society, that like, hey, let's not do this. We did that. We tried that before. It turned out really weird and hurt some people. So maybe like let's prevent that part of the extreme. We can accept in this extreme, and then maybe let's prevent this extreme because we know where it goes.
So as I recall, that's because the designed Sun Earth move into 52 and 58, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, and so that becomes part of the cross of service. But so
Yeah.
that's the logical process is what it's saying. It's saying behavior is the only individual gate, and that behavior will both look inward and look outward. And the rest of it is all collective logical. We're going to identify this thing. It's all identifying what you feel like sort of getting done, essentially, what needs to get done logically for things to move forward. And 52 brings this ability to sit still and start to focus on it. And 58 just pours a crazy ass joy out on the thing. And it's like a fire. 58's like a fire hose. It's got no awareness. It's just like a fire hose of motorized energy saying, I identify with this. I identify with that. So that's going to be your kid if he's born in the last 2 days of this cross. You're looking for the births. But overall, we're looking at just that Sun Earth 10 and 15 or 15 and 10. And I stand by what I said. The extreme nature of things are people shall see certain wisdoms in certain extremes they would have been blind to before. Allow it in. Allow it in. That's your awakened self seeing certain things. So really investigate that and see what that looks like. Bam.
There you go. Good job. Yeah, now we have like our last ones, right? So again, June 19th through June 24th, this upcoming week, the sun is in gate 15, extremes, and the earth is in gate 10, the behavior of self. And here we have the I Ching hexagram, so you can get a little view on that, right? So they're exactly mirrored to one another. And if we notice, the earth and the heaven previously were on the bottom, and now we've switched. The bottom hexagrams now for the next few weeks are going to be mountain and lake, because they'll
Mhm.
move through around the wheel. So I thought that was kind of fun.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. I like the way these look, and notice these extremes. This stripping of the extremes into a form of modesty is a lot of yin work.
Yeah.
It is absolutely an earth over mountain. So it's all earth stuff. And then the behavior is 90% yang stuff.
Orderly.
Yep. Well,
So cool. I love doing this with you. It's very neat to just like explore this together.
behavior of self modifies the extremes. That's insane. I love this. So I said all I can think of about what to sort of expect from this transit. Unless, can you think of anything to add?
Yeah, I feel like we've done really well on it, and just explaining that, of just make sure that we are aligned with our own correct behavior, right? And like that's going to be for each person, like that's within, our own hearts, and like what is right for us, and what behavior we express towards others, what behavior we accept from others, right? And putting ourselves, grounding that foundationally into what's correct for us moving through the world, because we're going to see some extremes, right? We're going to see some extremes, and they're out there. We can't do anything about it. And some of them are going to be really cool, and we're like, hell yeah, bring it into my life. And others were like, maybe that's not for me, but that can be out there, and I could just be grounded in myself to move forward through it all.
Thought of something else about it.
Yeah.
That's actually totally separate from what we've mentioned so far. Gate 15 is the one gate in the body graph that guarantees your aura expanded times 2. It's expanded the auras. When gate 15 is in the sun, driving that into the body, it's the most powerful expansion we have. Everyone is more connected starting today in some way, shape, or form. These auras are magnetic. In other words, it creates a magnetic aura. It's almost as if you're part generator without the generative, necessarily the generative juice as it relates to sustaining, but as it relates to magnetic, open and enveloping magneticness, drawing in. Gate 15 might draw in forces in the world to do something. I'd be interesting to watch what happens.
Oh yeah, and was it 15.5 is like the most conditioning.
Magnetic,
yeah, and the most magnetic and conditioning. So
and the biggest.
Yeah,
it's 15.5 is the largest
Hi.
aura.
That's me.
Yeah, me too. I got that channel.
Yeah,
So
this is so fun.
expect more interact. I don't know if you'll actually get more interaction because we're all so compartmentalized in certain ways, but your aura is expanded, and it has to mean something over the whole population as a whole. There will be something that resembles new sharing of certain things that seemed more extreme than they really are. I think it's a wisdom that has the potential to befall our lovely little blue globe. I can hope.
Oh, lovely. Thanks for
Yeah.
that, Danny. Always
Yeah.
a pleasure going through the transits with you.
Thank you, Moni. Thanks for tearing it out of me. I love you for it.
I love you.
So I guess we're done.
Yeah, bring Moana back on. Hey, girl, hey.
Whee! All right. Another one in the bucket. Oh my
Another one
gosh,
in the
we're
bag.
whoop whoop. All right, that was exciting. I can't believe how evident it was, like the 1-4 versus a 2-4, and I think that's what's like so joyful is like we're gonna get to see it, like not just us, but like the audience, and it's like, oh wow, like so yeah, it's just
I'm partial.
So entertaining.
I think the 2-4s were the best. So
Oh, okay.
who's measuring them?
No comment. Well, let's see how the other twos fare.
They're all fun in their own special way, but it's neat seeing the differences of like the 1-3 being just like, hey, we're just jumping in, seeing what happens. And they're like, all right, let's just dive in. And the 1-4s were a bit more like, okay, what is this? What are we, okay, more, a little bit more needing of that security and the stability. And then the 2-4s, you can feel like, oh, okay, naturalness. And then like once they fell into their flow and their naturalness and they're all like socializing, it was like, oh, you guys are delightful. This is great.
This is so cool. So next
I
week,
liked it.
we're going to continue on the party, and we're having the 2 5s. So another transit profile, super rare. The fact that I even got one guest is a miracle, let alone the whole suite. So fingers crossed.
Moana, you're amazing. You're amazing managing all of this.
that all of them do make it on, and we get to see that double projection profile come
Yeah.
on and
Yeah.
witness them in all their awesomeness. So that
And how
is
they
going to
feel about
be.
that.
Mm.
Yeah, because they got feelings about that. The two
Oh, yeah.
fives got feelings about that. I don't know what they are fully, but I can't wait to pull it out of them.
It's going to be superb. So this was, as far as I know right now, is the last episode that we're doing at our irregular timing. So starting next week, we're going back to regular broadcast time of 8:30 Eastern Standard. And again, if we have any changes, we'll let you know on our Instagram page. But other than that, is there anything I'm forgetting, team?
Not that I can
Yeah.
think of.
Thank you to everyone watching live on the replay. Please like, subscribe, share, do all the things. We love being part of this. We love sharing this with you, and excited as we just like bit by bit, little baby steps grow. And I'm just having so much fun. So thank you.
What we're doing is so special. We're gonna make a difference. We're gonna help bring this onto the plane. Have you noticed so far? Everyone who's even partially in their experiment, as they start to dabble, you notice everyone's more at ease with certain things.
Mm-hmm.
You notice this certain at ease in your skin. Did you hear the
Oh,
question
yeah.
I asked Sarah? I think it was before we went live. She was like, I've been looking at this for like a bunch of years, she said. And I was like, oh, this is great. And I just asked her, so you sure you're okay now? And she's like, oh yeah. And I knew what she meant. I didn't have to say, oh, you're just saying I'm fine. Like, what's the joke about if your wife says she's fine,
Run.
yeah, run. Or you get to work.
Go
do
buy her
something.
some ice cream real quick.
Right.
Right.
So,
Or brownies and ice cream together.
I mean,
See?
all of them,
See?
chocolate in general.
Right. Winning combo.
Right, but like I could tell, and everyone so far mostly everyone's just been that way. When you understand your design, you are able to get along in this world more as yourself.
There's an ease.
I can't. It sells itself.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
This is so good. I am absolutely honored that I get to have the both of you share this journey with not only myself but everyone else who gets to watch. So yes, audience, like we wouldn't be doing this without you. So please keep, spreading the word, keep, asking questions in the comments, right? The whole reason we do this live is because like we want to interact with you. I know it's at times it feels like, oh, this is weird interjecting. It is not. We
Yeah, we're
promise
just
you it's
figuring out
not.
how to navigate it because it's just like
Mhm.
it's fun being interactive, and sometimes it's like, okay, when do I put the question and do the thing? And like, I don't know, I'm okay being awkward.
Exactly.
It's gonna happen anyway. I might as well be okay with it.
Perfect. And then with that, we will see you at our usual time next time, and we bid you all adieu.
Which is what, 7:30 Central, 8:30
Cent-
Eastern.
Yes,
Yep.
exactly.
Next
Wednesday
Wednesday.
night.
All
See you
right.
all
See you
there.
then with the
Bye.
2 5s. Bye.
Bye.